you have somebody like Paul Ryan, who the other day basically said he's going to write someone in. He's not going to support Trump. There may be a lot of Paul Ryans on our side. I don't think that there's a lot of Joe Manchins on their side. Or even, we'll talk about him later.
What you're really saying is the Democrats function kind of more like a tribe or a
gang. They do, absolutely.
And the Republicans will say things like, because in fairness, if you make a list of the, let's just say, the 20 key issues, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. might be a dissident or a heretic or a right-winger on about 3 of them. But he's not on the other 17. Now, the 3 are high visibility ones, like
but
COVID.
He's not vocal on the 17 that he's not on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's not talking about abortion rights.
Right.
He's not talking about late-term abortion. He's not talking about any of those things.
Right.
He's only talking about those 3 things that matter to most independent voters.
Yeah, very interesting. All right. So you would prefer it to be a 2-man race?
I would.
Straight Trump versus Biden.
Absolutely.
Where you have, because you think that Republicans more than Democrats are likely to waver and say, well, I don't really like either of them, so I'm going to go with the third guy. Whereas Democrats go, I don't like either of them, but I'm going to stick with my team.
Right. Well, I mean, like I said, I told you I was listening to Paul Ryan on the Cavuto show the other day, and he made me so mad because, first of all, he talks about the principled Republican. And I want to say, where was the principled Republican in the 2012 election? Why didn't the principled Republicans win that one? I mean, you were saying Ryan is making the point that this kind of MAGA movement is hurting the Republican Party and that we should go back to being traditional Republicans. And your point is, we tried that with Bob Dole. We tried that with Romney. We tried it with McCain. In a way, we tried it with the Bushes. Now, let's look at it. I mean, George H.W. Bush would never have won if it wasn't for Reagan. He was carried by Reagan in 88, and he lost in 92. Correct. George W. Bush basically, the 2000 election was like a tennis ball hitting the net and then just falling on one side as opposed to the other. That election has to be called a draw. It was a draw.
So the only election, arguably, in 30 years that the so-called traditional Republicans have won is the 2004 election, Bush versus Kerry, and that was in the aftermath of 9/11. Right. And if it wasn't for 9/11, it's not even clear Bush would have won that election. Right. So this traditional Republican formula is a total dud.
And